Is that announcements maybe? Oh, here are release milestones. May 11th is feature freeze. May 19th is code freeze. So, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
All
I think
right.
we're shooting for a release sometime in June, like early June.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I think that was the plan, if I remember right.
All right, Shay, well, after you teach me how to be a test ninja today, I'm going to try and get some fixes upstream.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, one of the things that I discovered in just coming up with the agenda for our meeting later was there's some stuff that is just like not going to be mockable, really. I mean, you have to mock even in the integration tests, which is difficult. Like,
Yeah.
I started doing an example where I was like, let's go through writing integration tests for the Mac Wi-Fi module.
Yeah.
And, you know, unless we can add an SSID by using the Mac profile module.
Oh, yeah, I
like,
see what you're saying.
There's no way to do that on a, you know, clean machine.
So what, Garrett, for something like that, where it's like super hard to mock, do you have any like recommendations,
Oh, it's
or like
easy to
what would
mock.
be the guidelines? Oh, well, okay, sure, but
Yeah, I mean, in those situations, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, Shay, but your question was like whether or not it was, what's the word I'm looking for here?
I guess the issue is just kind of
to mock it.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is kind of like we can mock it in unit tests, but it would be nice to have kind of a more functional test of like, hey, we're going to run this actually on a real system.
do it live.
And to do a lot of the, you know, just as an example, to do a lot of the Wi-Fi module that we have, you have to have an SSID that it's already joined.
Right.
And so, yeah, you can mock it just to do unit tests, but to actually like exercise the, you know, the Pi Objective-C, like Cocoa stuff, we would have to do a lot more work, I think. I think it's still possible. As long as we can install profiles, we can probably make like a Wi-Fi profile on the fly, Wes.
Can we just shell out to Network Assistant and make a dummy one?
Maybe. Yeah. I got to go pull a pizza out of the oven. I'll be right back.
Okay. Was there any other big test bugs that you found on Catalina?
No, those were the only tests that were failing so far. There's just those 6. I haven't checked to see if the other ones pass. I just didn't get a chance yet. But they were PAM related, so I'm guessing that they would. I see a tiny person. Oh, ducked.
Oh, that might be his.
Yeah, I'm guessing that the other ones. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm guessing the other ones would pass once with that libcrypt workarounds or change or whatever.
Yeah, so that's
because I
just
think they were doing similar things. Like it's only.
Because that would just be changing the path,
It's only
right?
when it was, yeah. It was changing like what libcrypt, and there was another one that the workaround like had symlinking for symlinking 2 things to the files. But yeah, super weird. And what was weird to me was like it was only when it failed. Only when the authentication failed is when, and only if the user existed and an authentication failed did it trigger that bug. How's the pizza, Shay? Does it look good?
Oh, I'm not allowed to have any, so we did a little run out to the deli curbside pickup, and they were out of stuff for the little one, so she's having a little frozen pizza.
Oh, nice.
She's like, "You are not allowed to have any of this." they know how I roll. What are you doing, Wes?
Oh, somebody opened up a P1 ticket, so I was just responding.
That's exciting.
Yeah. All right. Well, what shall we talk about, gents?
I tried to pip install the old salt today. That didn't work. Should that work on
I think that's a known
any old
bug.
Python? Yeah.
You tried to pip install which version of Salt?
I just, I mean, that's about how deep I went into it. I was just setting up this training thing for later and did pip install salt. So whatever PyPI's got.
I think that.
It should be 3001 now?
Yeah, I would think so.
3000.1, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to say I've also seen, or no, was that brew install? I think that was a brew install problem that also ended up being a libcrypto bug as well.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
in with that one issue that I linked to, I think it mentions that there's issues.
Oh
with,
yeah, via pip
doing
or
brew
brew.
install Salt.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that same
Okay.
issue.
Yeah, known issue.
So what?
Yeah, I wasn't
let's see
super
here.
worried about it because it was missing the header files for some stuff. And I was just like, oh, well, I probably just don't have the prerequisites.
So do we want to? Has anybody opened a pull request to like actually fix this yet?
The libcrypto issue?
Wait. Yeah, wait, somebody opened a remove libcrypto patch. What? This is fun. God, this is a rabbit hole.
That's a serious sandwich you got there.
I just realized I'm on mute. Yeah, I was giving Wes a little muffalata view there.
Oh, were you talking?
Yeah, answer your question, Wes. I do not believe someone has opened a PR to fully fix the libcrypto issue.
Wait, what is this one? I'm trying to like follow this rabbit hole.
Were you able to get that test to run, Gareth?
I didn't actually try and run the test. I ran what the test was running, running a salt runner. But yeah, I was saying to Wes when you were grabbing your pizza that I need to go back and check that it does in fact fix the issue with the test and the other PAM-related tests that were failing.
Gotcha.
Fairly confident that it will, just based on the fact that the runner ran fine.
Oh, that's a homebrew core patch. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Do.
So what are some of the things that you mentioned asking when the sodium deadlines were? What are some of the things that you're hoping to get in for sodium?
Yeah, I was
Wes?
thinking mainly just some of the launch fixes, the service module that we've had patched internally for quite some time and seem quite stable. So hopefully I can get that in and fixed for sodium. That would be nice.
What was the deadline
Shay,
again?
did you want to May 11th?
Right. Yeah, you want to gang up on that and you
Uh-uh.
can do some of your testing Padawan time with that?
Yeah, let's do that. And then how about we get like super nasty and get the prefs module in?
You had me at super nasty.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, there's one outstanding thing, and maybe Gareth can serve as kind of an arbitrator as we have this discussion, because one of the things that we've kind of danced around but haven't discussed in detail is that we have this internal module for writing preferences on a macOS machine. It uses the core foundation preferences framework for doing it, and it will win in all instances, like if you set it at the top level, unless there's a profile installed. And if there is a profile installed, or in fact, Wes, correct me if I'm wrong, but also if there's a preference that is set for the same bundle ID, but at a different level than what you're trying to set it for, then when you try to set it, it will just not do anything. And so I'm wondering if it makes sense to, yeah, go ahead.
So from the way I wrote it is it will only, so like, you know how you can change the uh
User and computer level.
yeah, like the user in the group or the host.
Mm-hmm.
It will only check and set at those given locations, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the only way that won't work is if there's a profile installed above it. But we can easily add a check for that
Well, what if you
return a
what if you
warning.
were saying I want to, yeah, what if you were saying you want to set it at the root preferences and it was already set in the library, like the system preferences?
Then it would set it at the root preferences because it's checking at the root to see.
Okay. So what I was going to suggest was, do we need to do something, either a warning, like logging a warning, or failing, like command execution error or something, if you say, I want to set this preference to, you know, whatever, like this is something I am saying, this is the state I want the machine to be in, but then it can't actually set that preference in a way that is effective because there's a profile installed.
Yeah, I think we should warning and then fail the state if that's the case. If they differ, right? Because there's an API call to check to see if that's managed. And we can just check to see if it's managed before trying to set it. Or if we set it and it fails, then we can check to see if it's managed and return the proper error.
Because yeah, I feel like, you know, my vision of what setting a state of a preference should be is that if you're saying you want to set it to something, it should fail if it can't set that exactly how you say it. And I, you know,
Yeah,
I
and
don't
that's
think
how
it
it
does
does
that
right
now,
now.
as we've
It's
experienced.
just a little oblivious. Oh no, it'll fail right now. Like if you have a setting in, like if you have a preference set to false via profile, and then you have Salt try and set it to true, it'll fail. It just doesn't tell you why it failed. It's just like it failed.
Okay. Okay.
But
Even
like
though,
if we hit a failure,
does it end up setting the preference?
Yes, it will actually.
Yeah, so I mean, that's part of the other confusion about it, is that it's failing, like with an exception. It doesn't tell you why, but then it has actually set the preference as you've specified. It just, that preference doesn't do anything because it's being superseded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that piece of it, and then the other piece of it is, and I think you've already kind of added some of this in, but there's the timing issue with, you know, first off, are we doing the CF preferences synchronize call after we set something, and then are we waiting long enough for it to take effect to then check on it with the state to confirm that we've actually set it?
Yeah, so whenever you're interacting with preferences, that API is like super quick. The problem is whenever you remove a profile and then immediately try and like manipulate that given domain that was managed by the profile, that's when the system's a little slow at recognizing that those changes are capable of being applied.
So you think that having that watcher function with the delay in it, that is adequate for any of the potential issues that we could have with that system?
I mean, I guess we can write some tests and find out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe that's how we prove it
Yeah.
rather than guessing.
And then actually running it on the VMs, like the test suite VMs, will probably give us a good indicator, because the performance of the VM is going to be like definitely less than what it is on bare metal. So
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the problem. Like, you know, the whole high state runs so quickly that if it needs a little time, it's going to blow right past it without delaying adequately.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I think that seems reasonable that we could do our end of that very quickly, like this week.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that would be a very nice addition into that release. And also, I might have to talk with old Twang Boy, but we really need to build we should build Sodium on Catalina. Because last I checked, he was still building it on High Sierra. And that's what was causing the PyObjective-C library changes or crash, which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
So your suggestion would be to build all releases on Catalina?
Yeah.
For macOS?
Mm-hmm.
That seems reasonable. You know, I would think that the expectation is from Apple that you're going to have the current major release within a couple weeks of it being out, really. I mean, in an enterprise environment. Well, what are they changing software update to now that you can defer? Have you been following that, Wes?
I mean, you can defer only via MDM as of 10.15.4.
Right, and you can defer for how long?
90 days.
90 days. So Apple's kind of saying, like, we expect people to update to 10.16 within 90 days of its release. So I would think, that kind of gives us an idea, like the current major release is probably what we should be building on.
Was there a security patch for High Sierra?
I don't know. Once I stopped running Reposado, I stopped caring.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess my concern, the reason I ask, like, just what you were thinking about, like building like all releases on Catalina, whether or not those, like, so you build on Catalina, is what you get going to be runnable on Mojave, High Sierra? Just those
from my experience, I would almost say that you would be more stable to build the package on the latest version, and then it should run on previous versions. But the building on an old version and then hoping that it runs on a newer one, I feel like is going to be more prone to errors, especially with macOS.
Okay.
Especially with some of the newer libraries.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just know, like, usually on like
that up to you guys.
Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, I'm just thinking, like, usually on like the Linux side, we go the opposite, because it's like chances are the newer stuff is in most cases hopefully backwards compatible with the older libraries.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be the same that I'm recommending?
No, I'm saying we build on older to support newer. You're saying build on newer to support older.
Gotcha.
That was my only concern, was just like, if you build on newer, is the older stuff still going to work?
Yeah. Yeah, and my worry is if we build on older, will it work with the newer?
Yeah.
But I guess we
Yeah.
could
I mean, I don't
always
know how that would.
we could do both.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of what I was thinking too. I'm curious how that works. I might suggest that to Shane, just like, yeah, packaging for High Sierra, you build it on High Sierra. For Mojave, you build on Mojave, and Catalina, you build on Catalina.
Yeah.
That way, like the package that you get is one for that OS.
I don't know, Shay. What do you think? That seems like a lot.
I think that you're
Yeah.
going to have to change it in what, September, when they start shipping MacBooks that don't use Intel.
Is that actually a thing?
I mean, that's the theory, right?
Oh, the theory that they're going to go ARM.
Yeah.
Damn it, Apple.
If that's the case, yeah, yeah. Welcome to the great black void, my friend.
Just have the installer package just copy the make file, and then they can just build it on the machine. That'd be
There you go.
fast.
Oh yeah, build, especially building 0MQ and all the other libraries on the fly during the installer.
We don't even
It's
use.
fully.
We might set a new a new standard for worst package deployment. There's some bad ones out there, but I think that would take the cake for sure.
I can imagine that, like, the pre-install script, it just says make configure.
That would make Zoom look like a freaking party and like a nice little, like, you know, just a good little boy.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not super well versed on
Like,
the
we'll go full
way
DIY.
that they do. Yeah, I'm not super
DIY.
familiar
Yeah,
with
I
the
like
way
that.
they do backwards.
I mean, I was very shocked whenever Shane mentioned that he was building 3000.1 on High Sierra. And then when he mentioned that he was having problems, that's when I was like not necessarily surprised. But yeah, I don't know. Are the releases built manually?
Yes, I believe so. Well, no, there is some automation around it, and there's efforts to improve that automation.
Yeah.
It's just not there yet.
Okay. Cause Shay, I might actually I might go through and adjust the package build script for macOS actually, because if one of the build steps fails, it just keeps going,
Mm.
and you can end up with a very empty and non-worky package.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked with Shane a little bit about that, and he said that he wanted to do the same. But yeah,
I would
Shay, how do you
imagine
feel?
improvements would be welcome by Shane.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What were you gonna say, Wes?
Well, I was scared. I mean, did you have any opinions on the whole, like, which OS to build it on?
I've always kind of just glossed over the build target situation. I feel like it's probably pretty safe either way.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to think that anything that's not going to work probably shouldn't work anyway. Like, it's just so old that Apple's removing support for it.
Yeah. Honestly, I guess the only thing that, I mean, until we know is just like Pi Objective-C is definitely, some of the newer versions need to be built on the newer hardware because they don't actually contain any of the like the actual API libraries on the older ones. And those are all dependent upon each other, which is kind of an interesting design choice, but well, I think first things first is to actually get the package builder to work on Catalina.
Yeah, make sure it's possible.
Yeah, I know I was having a hell of a time with it before. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's do. I don't know, Shay. Do you think we can do it? We can fix up the services stuff and get prefs in by May 11th.
I mean, you know, all we have to do is toss aside the long deferred proxy minion, so no big deal.
Yeah, not like we're really doing much of that anyway.
We got beat to market on that one. Thanks for nothing, Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
What about any of the changes? Because I know there's still that third-party repo with a lot of kind of customizations for someone who wants to run Salt on Mac. Is there anything in there that you think might be beneficial to move into like official Sodium?
That's where the prefs module is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's other stuff in that, but I would think that the prefs is kind of the most pressing because we're expecting profile installation to go away this summer.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that with the setting up this kind of testing environment for our stuff, we're kind of looking at our stuff and saying like, hey, we need to actually test this. We're going to start writing tests for all of it. That makes it a lot easier for us to then present that stuff to SaltStack and say, hey, this is ready to get merged. Whereas before, we're always like, this would be great to have in the kind of standard module library, but we don't have time to write tests for it. But now we're kind of making time to write tests for it.
Yeah. Is Sodium all Pi 3?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes,
oh, that
very
would make
exciting.
it easier.
This will be a very exciting release. No
Okay.
more Python 2.
And what's the version of Python 3 in Sodium? Probably like 3.6, 3.7.
It's either.
Please say 3.8. Please say 3.8.
No.
You want that walrus.
No.
Gotta have that walrus, baby.
I'll take F strings though. I'll take F strings for sure.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's
either.
the best.
It might be 3.6. It might be 3.6. We may have gone.
I think
like
it's 3.6.
Super cautious and gone 3.5, but I want to say 3.6.
Okay.
It's definitely not 3.8, and 3.8 does not officially work. Salt does not officially work with 3.8 yet.
3.5's got F strings, right? Or is it 3.6 that
I
comes
thought it was
in?
3.6 those got added.
Oh, yeah. I would put a hold on that then.
I'm almost certain it's 3.6 then, because I know that
Yeah, it looks
I
like
know
3.6.
that F strings have been mentioned.
So Gareth, do you know, like, has a lot of the code been stripped of all of the 6 foolishness and it's just
Not
like,
yet.
okay. So it's not like that's
Not
an
yet.
expectation for this release. It's just there, it's
No,
just dead.
Yeah, this will be. I mean, we've already removed Python 2 jobs from like Jenkins. So we're strictly testing on Python 3 now.
Mm.
But as far as like code, we haven't updated. That's like a post Sodium and probably even post whatever the one after Sodium is process of just like going through and ripping all that stuff out and adding F strings and like all the Python 2 goodness, Python 3 goodness rather.
Yeah.
Well, that's helpful for us though, because Wes knows like one of my favorite things to do is get the the code mop and like clean stuff up. So if we're
It's
gonna
true.
go
You are
over
a
all those
janitor by trade.
modules, it'll be a great time to if we're gonna write tests for all these, if we're gonna go over them all, like let's drop all the Pi 2 stuff. Although I know you just updated a lot of those so that they do work in Pi 3. So kiss the Pi 2 stuff goodbye.
So if we have new modules that we're adding that would be shipped in Sodium, do they need to be supported on Pi 2?
Oh wait, say that again.
So if we add new features, like brand new modules, do they need to be Pi 2? Sodium?
No.
Okay, sweet.
For Sodium,
right.
No. Sodium is Python 3 only.
Okay. New stuff is Python 3 only?
If it's brand new, it doesn't need to support Python 2.
All right. I like that. That's good.
So you can start, if you add something and it's Python 3 only, that should be perfectly fine.
Okay.
I don't see anyone pushing back on it and saying like, hey, support Python 2 here.
Yeah, let's add some extra code in there so we can like go in and clean it up in a few months anyway.
Right. Yeah, no, Python Sodium is, again, like Python 3 only.
All right. I like it.
Yeah, everyone's excited. It'll be good. It'll be very, very good.
Oh, Shay, if it's Python 3 only, then it would be super easy to add the plist support for serialization and renderers.
Oh yeah.
Which is what I would love to add.
I mean, to be fair, non-binary p-lists worked just fine with Python 2. Grumpy Greg.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't really binary. It wasn't binary plist that was the problem when I was like trying to add this. It was just doing the 6 stuff for like if Pi 2 use plist lib dot like write to string versus
pain
dumps or dump.
Right. Well, yeah, the API is very different. One expects a file handle or file-like object, and one expects a path to a file.
Yeah, which was my issue.
Which was muchos lamos.
Yeah. All right. I think that'll be fun.
Yay!
All right.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Let's rearrange some of our.
Let's tell Gotti we're not doing SCEP certificates.
I mean, we have like 2 weeks to do this, so that leaves the other 2 months of the quarter.
I'm gonna set up a tent in the backyard, and I'll go back there with my computer, and it'll be like you and I are having a little camp out.
Yeah, you should for sure do that. Melanie asked me if we should put a tent in the living room today, and I was just like, I guess we could.
Definitely.
She's like, can we have the projector still work? And I'm like, no, because that's like from one end of the room to the other end of the room, so it doesn't really work that way.
Project it on the ceiling, dog. Take the rain fly off.
Yeah. Projected on the ceiling, right into the skylight.
Oh wow, living large.
Oh yeah. Let all the neighbors see all the.
Can't
cool
you just
TV
go
shows.
up onto your penthouse, hot tub and watch up there?
I wish there was a hot tub up there. That'd be great. Something I don't think land like building owners appreciate mass quantities of water at the top of the building. It's just
So I used to be involved with running a conference down here in California, down in Southern California. And the hotel that we were at for like years and years, 2, 3 years, they had like certain rooms had like hot tubs like on their balconies. And it was really awesome. Like the end of the conference, like you're tired, you're sore, you just go out there and you just soak in the hot tub. So like the third year, so it was like that for 2 years. Third year, like go into my room, like get there first day, and like I walk out, like, check out just to like go out on the balcony just to see it because it was right down by LAX, so you could watch like the planes like landing. And stuff.
oh, nice. That's cool.
And yeah, crappy area, like nothing down there at all, but like
Yeah.
cool view. So like I walk out there and they're like, wait, there's no hot tub here. What happened to the hot tub? And so I asked one of the hotel people, like one of their event managers, is like, hey, what happened to the hot tub? He's like, oh yeah, I know, super, super disappointing. But we discovered that the weight of the hot tub was actually more than the balcony could hold.
Yeah, that
Just
makes
the
sense.
hot tub on
Yeah.
itself.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was like thinking about that. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, wait a minute. How did you discover this? It was like, oh, no, nothing bad happened. We just like,
Yeah.
someone thought like, hey, wait a minute, can that balcony hold that hot tub?
Some building engineer like probably
Right.
actually stayed in that hotel, went out on the balcony and was just like,
Whoa.
Wait a minute,
I
this
don't
hot
know
tub
about
shouldn't
this.
be here. Yeah.
I don't know about this.
So was there just like a circular dark spot in the ground where they just had paved it over?
I don't even, yeah, probably. I don't even remember.
All right, BRB.
Oh. It's just out.
Okie dokie. All right. Shay, what do you think? 3 things. Services, prefs, plists. And then we'll just call sodium the macOS release because it'll be so hot.
I mean, we probably have to add a module for setting the wallpaper to make it all the way, but I'm done with that.
I mean, we can do that with the prefs module.
Ick.
I mean, yeah, no, if like it would be super easy because we can just use the file module and the prefs module, and then we're good to go.
No, don't unleash that on the world. Yeah,
Garrett, just to fill you in, for years, a cool thing that people would do at conferences or whatever to like show off, like, oh, I can manage macOS, is they would use whatever thing that they were using to change the wallpaper because it was very visible, right? The change was extremely visible to people.
Yeah, that's also basically the worst possible thing you could manage on a
Yeah.
client fleet. Like the best way to gain distrust and hatred. It was either that or the Ansible one is they have the MacOS say command.
Yeah.
Wait, what is that?
The Ansible demo is that I've seen from like the Ants boys is like they just shell out to, the say command.
Oh yes. Oh God, yeah, that's so terrible.
I will say when Wes gave a demo of moving the Square Wi-Fi up to the top of the network list, people in the audience actually cheered. There was like a gasp of breath. I've never seen a bunch of nerds be so affected by something.
Well, the thing is they want. I mean, wait, are you talking about the one like at Square?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that wasn't even nerds. That was just like normal people. They were just dumbfounded that you could do something like that. And I'm like, and this is why it's hot.
I just was not expecting that kind of reaction. They were
Neither
like
was
carrying.
I.
They were practically carrying Wes out on their shoulders afterwards.
That's fairly hilarious.
Yeah.
It removes that extra effort to search, like scroll down.
Well, so
click over to get the list.
So the reason why we wrote it is people were complaining that it was taking their laptop so long to join the office Wi-Fi. And we were like, why is that? So at the very, like when you first like get your computer and you get set up, the like the internal network SSID name is like the only one there. But then as you like have your laptop and you travel and you go to places, it moves the work SSID to the bottom of the preferred list. Like it just keeps going. Like all new ones get put at the top.
LIFO.
Right? Yeah. So whenever you do that, and say you have like 100 and some odd SSIDs in your saved network list,
right,
Apple goes through and looks to see if any of those are reachable before it finally realizes like, oh, hey, here it is. Let's join it. This one's actually available. So if you take like the Square network name and you move it to the very top, it just it just joins right away.
I see.
So we wrote a module in Salt, a module like we wrote a state to like always make sure that the Square one is like the very top. And I gave a demo of it internally, and everyone's like, "Oh man, wait!" And you can be connected to that network, and it'll do it and not like break anything. And I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh my god, this is so stupid." But yeah.
We're going to have a hard time topping it. We're giving another one next week, right?
Are we?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
The remote onboarding demo.
Oh.
BizTech.
Yeah. That'll be fun. I didn't realize that was next week. Anywho. All right. I think we can do those three.
Yeah. We got to bounce to this next meeting, yo.
Yeah. So I think that'll be good.
Just real quick and answer your question. It looks like the version of Python that we're targeting is going to be 3.5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I think so.
No F strings.
No F strings. Sorry.
Damn it. Oh well. You just broke my heart.
It's all right. You still can't use F strings or you shouldn't use them in log statements. So until they fix that.
Wait, so is it still best to use the old formatter? I hate
In,
that format.
in logging,
Yeah.
yes and no. So the short answer is you're supposed to give your string with the format indicators in it, and then just add all the stuff to format in and comma separated like args after it. Don't
So
use the
using the
percent thing.
so use dot format.
No,
Don't use that.
no. So you would have like your string with the percentage s or whatever, and
Yeah.
then comma, and then the thing you want to format into it. Because then it allows the logging system to decide, like, if we're not at this log level, it's not going to bother formatting it.
Dang. Is that
Yeah,
a
we had a big effort like a year or two ago going through and like ripping all the format stuff out for that very reason.
ripping out the dot format?
Ripping out dot format, especially in log statements.
Oh.
Yeah. It's no big deal for like one or two, but when you've got like potentially hundreds of trace level log that's all formatting and just not showing it, it's like it's a
Or
waste of
debug,
cycles.
like soft code is a lot of debug logs that most people never see, but when they're running it, it's doing the formatting as Shay said.
I'm like 90% positive that the contributing documentation mentions to use dot format.
Maybe the last time you read it.
Which is why I was extremely confused.
Gareth, it's been a joy. I'm running this meeting, so I'm gonna take off and jump into this other one.
I ducked out of another one to come to this, so I need to go back to the first one.
We're on the cool list.
Sweet. Yep. Thank you all. It's good chat. Let's get some goodies upstream. Let's do it.
Yeah,
right, good to see you, bud.
Bye, Wes.